Good morning everyone, I hope you're doing good. So I just finished a studio job and then I went to Malta to check out some epic Neolithic temples. So these temples are truly ancient, so they're built around 6,000 years ago, and that's thousands of years before the pyramids were built. This is what I truly love to do, traveling to ancient sites and do a photo scan. So I originally made this for my hiking and photography channel because I just got a new camera, a DJI Osmo Action 3. So what you might not know is that you can use filmed clips for photogrammetry. The quality is of course not as good as with the stills camera, but it does have other advantages that a stills camera doesn't have, and speed is definitely one of them. So take a look at these clips here that I've sped up about 4 times. So the Osmo Pocket 3, it's got a gimbal camera which produces these really stable shots. And that means that I can freeze every frame and get a perfect frame that I then can use for photogrammetry. So this is different from a lot of other cameras. Let's say you use your phone or you use your action camera. So they got digital stabilization, not mechanical like the Pocket 3. And then you can easily get more blurry footage. But this is absolutely stable. And here we have the little camera. As you can see, it's got this nice little flip out screen and the gimbal camera there on the top. So it's pretty much a camera from a drone that's put on a stick. But it works very, very well, and all the images are completely stable. So it makes it easy to just walk around, and even if you hit a bump in the road, it will still be stable. So yeah, I thought I'd give it a go and see what we can get. Let's jump into RealityScan 2.0 and see how we do this. I'm going to import all the clips and we're going to generate still images from it, and then we're going to get the mesh from this scan. And here we are in RealityScan 2.0, and I've imported all the files, all the images, and generated a mesh and colorized it. And to me, this is quite usable. So when you extract an image from a video file, you would get a 4K image. So that's around 12 megapixel, which is not huge, but it's not small either. There is quite a lot of detail you get out of that. So not bad, not bad. And since the gimbal makes every frame super stable, you get a lot of quality out of that. I've tried other cameras filming like this, and quite often you will hit a bump or something and you do get a lot of blurry frames, which you have to remove, and then you can use the rest. But here it's crystal clear from beginning to end, so I'm very happy with this. Now this is absolutely perfect for scanning huge environments where you don't have the time, or if it's not even possible to scan those. And here you can get like a first draft of the scene and see what you can do, and you can use it for layout and that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's start from the beginning and I'll show you how to do this. It's super simple. We are in a fresh scene now, so I'm just going to import. So if you go up to your workflow tab here, and you will see a lot of options. So you got this here called the video sequence, so just click on that. And then you navigate to where you have your video sequence, and I got mine here. So of course I already did this for my scene, but let's see what happens if we import the first movie here. So we'll be reached with a dialog box, and it says well, the options you have is create a folder next to the video file. Yeah, that's what you want to do, or else it gets messy quick. Jump length, it's how long between frames it's going to be when it extracts a new frame, a new image. So here it's set to 0.5, so that's 1 every half a second. Now default is 1. I found that it's usable, but it's also maybe a little bit too low resolution. So 0.5 was pretty good for me, and if you want more detail you can take 0.25 and get even more. This worked pretty good for me, and I don't think I get more quality out of that. So all you got to do then is click OK, and it's actually going to take a while. It can take up to 5 to 10 minutes depending on how long your sequence is. So I'm not going to hit this now, but trust me on that. So what you do once you have generated that, you can either use it straight away, it's in here, but what I prefer is just generate all the ones I want, because I don't have only one. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequences that are all going to be used together. Because when you're out filming this, you might not want to do just one long sequence. It can be kind of hard to keep it together for 20 minutes when you're walking around. So splitting it up into multiple sequences is a good idea. So I have them all extracted here into its folders, so I don't need to do that anymore. But what I do is, as usual, because now it is just images, so you can just go in and select the folder and keep on going with all of these. So let's import all of these. D and E. Okay, so here we have them. They're all lined up there. So let's do, well, now it's pretty much business as usual. There's no different from this than anything else. So the only trick in the book is to extract the frames. That's what it does. So if you have another software that does it, you can do exactly the same. But the good thing with this, I'm going to hit align images and we see what we get here with the default settings. So the brilliant thing with the Pocket 3 is, like I said, is that every image is sharp. Before, I had to go through all the images and remove the ones who got blurry, but here I can kind of trust that it's going to look good. I can use every single image. So that's a huge bonus, because this could generate potentially a couple of thousand of frames, and it's a pain. It's very painful to go through all of them just to remove the ones who doesn't work. So I'm happy that I can trust this. And here we have it. It's finished. It took about 5 minutes to generate all of these, and it's a very good alignment. No problems whatsoever. It's all there. So let's open up the other one again, and I am gonna export that for cleaning up in 3D Coat. Okay, so here we have the meshed version. So you just do the same as always. You just continue on. So I always use mesh high detail. It's like, why not get the best? Normal detail I don't bother with, and especially when the images are kind of low resolution like this, you want to eke out every quality you can out of it. So I ended up then with 302.8 million triangles. Now in order to clean this up in 3D Coat, we need to get it down to 100 million. So I am going to hit the simplify there, and gonna type in 100 million here. 100 million and simplify. Just wait for this to finish. And here we have simplified it to 100 million polygons. And that also means I can display the whole thing in the viewport, shaded with all the polygons filled. Now there's a cap around at 220 or something like that that I can actually show in the viewport. But before we export, we got to do one more thing, and that is to colorize it. So I'm just going to hit the colorize button. And we got some color on. So let's go to dense mesh model and export it. So I'll put it right here with the others. So let's just check the settings here. So I keep everything pretty much on default at this point, except that I want vertex colors to be on, and it should be FBX, and materials could be off. I don't have any materials, but that would be the textures, but I don't have that. And then I just click OK and save it out. Here we are now in a 3D Coat, so I just imported the 100 million polygon FBX file with vertex colors. You might see immediately here that it looks a bit dark, and that's something I think happened in RealityScan 2.0, that it puts it in linear color. So that's why I get a bit of a darker color here, but I don't think it's not a huge deal. I only need it as a reference to see what I'm working with, but I will see if there is a way to change this, because before it kind of looked nice when you got it in the correct color space. So I'm going to perform a basic cleanup of this mesh here. So I have made longer tutorials where I go more into depth, but I think from now on I'm going to try to keep it a little bit more short and concise, and maybe repeat my workflow a couple of times, and sometimes I add new things to it as well. So let's start with cutting off all of these pieces here. So you can see that I'm still in surface mode. So I'm going to cut off the big pieces, and then I'm going to switch over to volumetric mode, to the voxel mode. But first I need to switch to orthographic, and I'm going to hit space and go to my cutoff, check that I got the lasso tool. So the reason I go into orthographic is because when I do this, I will actually shoot out a Boolean shape through the scene. And if you're in a standard 3D mode, you might actually cut off things that are behind you that you don't see. But in orthographic mode, you see everything in the scene, beginning to end. So you don't make any big mistakes like that. So that's why it's preferred to cut things off in orthographic view. So let's just get rid of these big pieces here. The thing with the voxels is that you don't want too big of a scene, or unnecessarily big scene, because when you create the voxels, it will use the scene size to determine the quality of the scene. So if you can just trim it down, the big pieces at least, and not have any floaters, that would be a great thing. So that's just what I'm going to do. So operating in surface mode is a lot slower than operating in volumetric mode, but it still works. And also it's more prone to errors, so you might have to backtrack because it does a Boolean shape, and if the polygons are weird, you're going to get a strange Boolean shape or a strange cut of the Boolean. So that's why I like to go over to voxels, because there are never any errors with the voxels. So let's quickly trim off these pieces here. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to hit save. And then, once it's saved, I'm going to hit right click here and do a separate disconnected parts. And we go all the way up to 10,000, get rid of all the big pieces, and then we hit OK. So now all the floaters are going to be removed. And there we go. It actually takes quite some time, or let's say 2 minutes or something. But here we have all the pieces. So it's only one piece, so usually just drag that out. If you would have bigger chunks there that are bigger than 10,000 polygons, they would end up in a separate piece as well. And now let's go into voxel mode. So I'm just going to click this little S here and change it to a V. Got this dialog up, and I would type in 100 million polygons. See if that's correct, 100 million, and click OK. And that's going to take a little bit of time, and then we have our voxel. And now it's voxelized, and it ended up with being 125 million polygons. So that's quite a lot. Gives us a lot to work with. So I am now going to clean this up completely. So I'm going to cut it out nicely using the same cut tool as I did in surface mode. So let's just go take piece by piece. You can see how much faster it is already. Let's keep this big stone. So first I'm just going to take away these obvious ones and like so. And then we will I will switch over here to spline tool, and we can now have a little bit more control and get like a nice cutout. Okay, that's going to be a problem. And we can also go in a bit closer just to refine it. So I'm just gonna make this shape look nice, and then I'm gonna cut it off. Now we're just gonna click this use intersection and click apply, and it's gonna make a cutout. It's gonna remove those edges there. And it's done. Let's just click off this use intersection, okay? Or else next time you use it, you're gonna be surprised that it's flipped, which is not nice. And we can go up here to curves and delete all curves. Curves. Delete all curves. And that's pretty much it. So I might do a little bit more cleaning up here with different tools, just show you how it is. But for me right now, this would be what I wanted to show in this here. So you can see it's kind of nice. Okay. So I got my favorite removal tool is the wet clay. It just eats away the polygons here if I start sculpting, and you can see how it just kills them off there. You can also use for these ones, you can just use smooth, and then you can kind of like just smooth it away. You can see here how we can just kill this off. And this is why it's good to have the color information already, so that you know where you made your edits. So this we can also use the cutoff tool for, which I probably will do. We are going to convert this to surface in the end and just remove all the floaters, because you can get a few floaters with in voxel mode. So, all right, I'm just going to go through all of this, use only the wet clay tool, and just sculpt away these things, just remove all of them. And you can see how easy it is to just do this in 3D Coat. To my knowledge, no other program would allow you to do anything even close to this. But if you do know, if you can do this in Blender, for instance, would make everybody happier. You would save a couple of dollars, and we don't mind that at all. But for now, this is the absolute best solution that I have seen, where you can just do this. And in most other programs you would have to cut them off with some kind of a cut-off tool, and that's extremely time consuming, like really. So this is a game changer. So if you're not a 3D Coat user and you do photogrammetry, I think you are missing out. Okay, that's all the basic removal I'm going to do for now with the wet clay tool. So I'm not going to finish this by any means, because you can see how much there is to sculpt. So this is like a couple of days sculpting project to get it off, get it up to becoming like a real asset. So the problem is, of course, with the Osmo Pocket, that I could only walk here. I'm not allowed in here, but if I would be allowed into these chambers here, I would get a pretty good scan of everything. So this is still usable. I can reconstruct this. Just gotta have to use my sculpting and painting tool skill set to get this to work. So photogrammetry is only the beginning. You still need to develop your sculpting skills. So I'm going to do one more thing. I'm just going to plug these holes here, and then we're going to export it to RealityScan. I'm just going to add a bit of a base here. So I'm using the primitive tool, and you can see you got a lot of primitives here, and I'm just going to put down a little bit of a cylinder here. So mostly to plug these holes. So once it's placed, it is a bit fiddly, I admit it, but you gotta drag on all these things here, or you can use the numbers here. It's almost easier to use the numbers here. But once you're done, you just click apply and you wait. It would take quite a long time because it is an over 100 million poly mesh, so it is a slow operation, but it does work. And here you get this pop-up, you just click no, and you're gonna have to do this a couple of times. Just click no, 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 and just let it calculate. So eventually it will get there, but it takes a solid couple of minutes. And there we go, it's done. So it did take maybe 3 minutes to generate, but now it is glued in. So let's see. It is looking pretty decent. So as a final thing, I'm just gonna cut these off as well, and then we're gonna export it. So I'll go to my cut off. I have that chosen. Use intersection on, so we flip it, and then we there we go. Click off use intersection and delete all curves. Let's export this one. Just gonna save. And there are a few things you can do to clean it up. If you have been doing a lot of sculpting, there is a chance that there will be empty little holes, little bubbles in the voxel mesh. You can close those with clicking fill voids. So I'm going to do it. I always do it just to be safe. It will not destroy anything if there are no holes or bubbles. It does take quite a long time to fill the voids when you got a huge mesh like this, but it's done. So as a final thing, before I export it, I need to get this into surface mode so I can remove these floaters here. This is something I can't do in voxel mode. There is no way to just click and get rid of these, so I need to convert it. Now the problem is when I got 124 million and I'm trying to convert the mesh, it may or may not succeed. We'll find out. So I'm going to hit the button here and we see if it succeeds or not. It is a success so far. It did convert it, but I do have a problem that it actually crashed when I tried to do the removal. So in order to do that without crashing the machine, I'm going to have to reduce it. So I'm just going to hit decimate. And then we're going to try to find we are going to around 80 million, because that's the number I had before I converted over to voxels. So they're not really much more information than 80 million polygons. So we're going to try that first. Go down to 80 million and see if it holds up. It did take quite some time, but it's now reduced to 80 million. And now we're going to try again to separate disconnected parts and see if it works. Click the OK. It's another success. So I now have everything cleaned up. Can delete this. Going to rename this. And now we're going to export the whole thing. Export selected objects. here, make a new folder called exports here. Gonna name it Hagar Qim cleaned. And I'm going to click Don't Decimate. Get the full poly count in, all of it. I'm actually also going to export one that's heavily reduced. And the only reason for that is that in RealityScan, it's a bit tricky to get things back in because of the coordinate system. It always flips around. And if you import the full mesh before you're sure you got it right, well, it will take quite a long time before you get it in. So exporting a very low res just to see if you get the position right is kind of recommended. Full res is exported, and now I'm just going to export a low res version also. Just going to name it low res. Okay. We are going to reduce it with 85%. So down to like 10 million. That's okay. All the exports are done. And let's import these into RealityScan now. All the exports is done. So let's try to import this into RealityScan. So we go to Import Model. And into the exports, and I'm going to take the low res version here. Now here I get options to enter coordinates, etc., etc. We're going to see what happens if I don't enter anything else, and we take it from there. So I just click OK. In this case I'm going to click No. And here we go. This is what I'm talking about, so thanks a lot. It's way too big, and it also needs some rotations. So let's kill this. Try again. And here we go. I think I got it right. So this is the low res model. So let's try to import the high res. This one. So I saved it down to a file. It's this one here. It's something I used before, so at least there is some it does carry over from project to project if you only do the same thing. So this is how it works if you import as an FBX to 3D Coat and export it from there. You got to use these values here, and they don't really make any sense because I'm actually scaling it up 1,000 times and rotating 90 degrees in X, and then it becomes correct. So click OK, and then we just wait for it to come in. It took a while to import it, but here we are. It's imported, and I removed the non-manifold edges as well, so it's nice and clean. And it's looking pretty nice, I have to say. So let's put some color on this, and that will be that for this video. So I'm just going to hit the colorize. No need to do the full texture thing. And that's it. It's colorized. And let's take a closer look at what we got here. How is the quality? Now that we can see clearly. So I have to say it's pretty decent for what you actually have to do to get to this point. So just walking around with the Pocket 3, it doesn't take that long to do. So this is maybe I spent 20 minutes doing this. Now you can of course spend much more time, go a couple of more laps around and find more details. But I think it's an absolute excellent little scanning tool, and I'm definitely going to use it for large scenes. Now you're going to you're going to need some pretty good light, because the darker it gets, the bigger the chance is that you will get the blur. But if the light is good and you have a large scene, this is the tool to use. Because I can definitely work with this, but it is a work in progress, and I might pick this up in the future and do all the sculpting of this, fill in the rooms that are missing and everything, and bring it all up to become a viable asset. So right now there's quite a lot of work to do, and it requires a lot of skill actually to get this one to be a proper asset, but we can do it. So I'm gonna make that happen in the future. So yeah, pretty cool, a little handy tool, and it is a little bit like having a LiDAR with you, like a little portable LiDAR, where you just walk around and pretty much spray and pray with this tool, and then you get a full scene like this. This would normally take me probably the whole day if I have to step around, take one picture at a time. But now I can get this done in 20 minutes, and I'm very happy about that. So why not pick one of these up if you're doing large scans like this? So it serves its purpose when you're doing layout. Let's say you're actually out, you're going to scan a landscape and do a layout on top of it. It's really, really handy for that. So I can see it's definitely something that fits into the arsenal of a photogrammetrist's toolbox. So thanks for watching, and tune in again soon for other tutorials about 3D scanning and 3D in general.